Hey, and welcome back everyone to another episode of Big Points Theory. I'm Ach, and we're talking to Suj over there, high score. Suj, how did things go last week in FPL?
Not a bad game week, not a great game week. Sterling disappointed many of us and didn't even play. My captain, idiot. Then I had Salah as vice captain. But the good news is at least Lundstrom came off the bench for 12 points. I got a nice, what did I get? 64? Not bad,
Wow.
not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. But last week's disappointments, I think, are driving a lot of wild cards this week. I was just looking at the captain picks from last week, and I see some of the stats where you can see how many disappointments there were. Sterling had was 22.6% captained by overall by managers, right? But just look at the difference. Like it just shows how the top players in the game, like how much of a better understanding they have of the game. The top 1,000 managers picked Aguero at 45.8% for captain picks, and
Okay, so
Sterling was
they,
a mere 17.1, and then Salah further back 11.1. So yeah, it just shows like Sterling is somebody who maybe is not the only disappointment, but a lot of people I think had Kevin De Bruyne based on
yeah,
our recommendation. I think,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah, and he was a pretty good captain. Actually, he was the best captain I would say of the
Yeah.
weekend.
Wow, in an 8-0 win, I'd expect one of them to get some nice points. Yes, any one of them got nice points in that game.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, I don't say I did particularly well. I think I got about 49 points purely because I forgot I didn't change my captain from Mane to I would have added on Sterling and vice captain on De Bruyne because I knew Liverpool were playing a big team. But Mane also got an injury, so that's adding now extra
Uh,
insult to the injury.
yeah, I
Uh,
went to
yeah, but let's move on to what did we learn from last week? Well, obviously the captaincy disappointments, but Aguero he just keeps doing it, eh?
Yeah, he just seems to be just scoring every single game. And I can understand why the top 1,000 went for Aguero over Sterling because if you had both, or if you had one of the two, it's probably Aguero because he's on better form than Sterling.
Yeah, no, exactly. And actually, I was reading something very interesting. Yeah, I think it's on the fantasy site itself. Right, you can just bring it up here. Check this out. So, Aguero becomes the first player to score in each of a club's first 6 matches of a season, overtaking the run of 5 shared by Arsenal's Jose Antonio Reyes. Phew, that is a name. That's me, Obi-Wan, going, that is a name I've not heard in, in a long
Yeah,
time. And 2004, 2005, Wayne Rooney. Yo, who's that?
that's why I'm smiling.
But anyway, and then he's also the first since Romelu Lukaku to score in 7 consecutive Premier League appearances, a run that finished in December 2015. But the
Yeah.
one that I'm finding the most interesting is this one. Do you really think he's going to achieve this one? Vardy apparently scored in 11 successive matches between August and November in their title winning season. Do
My
you?
answer to that is yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, then I hope he's going to be like the first and foremost pick on our captain picks this week. And let's have a look at that. Oh, wait, before we do that, I forgot to mention we've got a couple of points here about Norwich and McGinn. Maybe you can talk me through that.
Yeah, just a quick one. Norwich looked bad away from home. They only got like 1 goal and 0 points. While at home, they scored 8 goals and got 6 points. So they seem to only perform at home, and they got a few away coming up at the moment. So Pookie and Norwich player owners should just watch out.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, from going from wow, we're amazed that we're captaining Pookie to don't captain him.
Yeah,
Very quick
that's how
changes.
FPL works.
Yeah. Let's move on to our captain picks for this week. I'm thinking we've got some nice captain picks this week. Uh, Wait, let me get to it here.
You can probably
Yeah,
guess who it's going to be, though.
yeah. Look, I mean, the obvious. I'm actually noticing that we've graduated some people and we've dropped a couple, like Sterling and Salah have dropped.
Yeah.
But
Pure form.
De Bruyne obviously performed on the weekend.
Yeah, goal, 2 assists, 17 points. Oof. Yeah, anybody who got him as vice captain really, really collected nicely. And I
Yeah,
mean, this whole performs in any game. Even that game against Norwich, we only played like, I think it was like 22 minutes. He had 13 crosses in that game. So yeah, he's the player to have. I'm almost thinking he's essential. As
Yeah.
much as Aguero, sorry.
No, I must agree with you. I think I was looking at some stats here, uh, with the forward midfielders, and yeah, on target. I don't know what these XGs and all that stands for, but I know that like when I'm looking at in terms of like expected goals, they've got Aguero at 5.8. Uh, goals per what is this expected goals? What does that usually mean?
Exactly what it says. The expected goals for the performance of the player so far with all the stats put into one.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I'm just saying what I wanted to point out, I guess, is that with De Bruyne, he's got quite a strong expected assists, and even if he's going to add a couple of goals to that, it's totally worth it. I think if you look at his past performances, last season maybe he was injured and whatever, but you're right, he's probably essential. But as captain, like I
Well,
mean,
if you don't
obviously,
have Aguero and with Sterling playing midweek in this Carabao Cup, I'd rather go for him over Sterling. If that's the two you have.
yeah, okay, I see that. Aguero, I don't know. Is there any much more to say about him? Like, are you gonna suggest that he's
It's,
the number one pick for this week?
yeah, that's why he's got those little stars there next to him. He is the one.
But I actually wonder, right? Because I think he's struggled against Everton, if I'm not mistaken. He hasn't quite done it against them. I think 2 goals in like 12 games against them.
Yeah, but you
So
must remember also City's trying to catch up with the points against Liverpool. You know, they know how tight the season's going to be, and I think they're like 3 or 4 points behind, or 5 points behind. So they have to play their best team every game until they actually get a lead or something.
yeah, but I question Pep with his rotation, man. Look, Aguero seems rotation free so far.
So far,
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing that's worrying me, and especially for the Sterling owners, I'm harping on it. Sterling is now he's missed 2 games, and his stats are still pretty good. You know, like
yeah,
he's still got like the most touches in the box compared to other midfielders. But now I'm starting to waver on him. You know, and if Aguero
yeah.
is available and he's 12.2, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say maybe take Sterling out and try and get Aguero in.
Why not? I don't see why not.
Yeah. And then moving on to Aubameyang, I see he's the one I'm actually pleased that he's graduated to the usual suspects because he actually does belong there.
Yeah, for sure. He went from once to watch to form to one of the usual suspects. I mean, he's there for a reason. 15 goals in his last 15 games. He also can't stop scoring, and they got a nice run coming up. The only thing that worries me about captaining him is Arsenal's actual form. You know, if you score against them first, they tend to flout around, and it's difficult to come back for them. But if they score first, then usually Obiang gets it and probably gets more than one.
Yeah, I mean, but he is a good finisher. And I
Of
mean,
course.
just to reiterate what you're talking about his fixtures. I mean, if you look at his fixtures, let's see if I can pull up the fixtures there. They got some very nice fixtures coming up for
Look
Arsenal,
here.
and they're
Let me
playing.
say,
Oh, I see. They're also playing they're playing a mid-table team this week. This week Monday.
that should be a win there for them.
Yeah, easy win for them. Yeah.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole, please.
So okay, out of these three, so you banking more on Aguero despite the caveat of he's like not necessarily performing. But I mean, Everton defensively they've been terrible. I think a lot of Digne owners are also probably removing him. They haven't. I think they've conceded in each of their last 3 now, and
Yeah,
yeah, they're not doing too well. So I think are City playing away from home?
the City are playing away from him, yes.
But yeah, I guess
That
that doesn't
doesn't
really
matter.
matter. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the form, guys. So I mean, yeah, another not a surprise at all is Firmino.
Yeah.
Ma-
Look, I was surprised to actually put him onto this list here because I haven't been keeping an eye on him at all this season. But for Morata, I was reading and the stuff like he's got his third goal in as many games. He's cheaper than Mane and Salah. He averages 7.3 games, 7.3 points per game this season compared to 8.3 for Salah and 7 for Mane. So he's
Wow.
thereabout at a very much cheaper price. And if I'm not mistaken, he has a better record than Mane and Salah against the bigger teams, which they're going to be playing a few of them. Well, besides United, a few of them now in the near future.
No, yeah. I mean, for sure. Look at this. He's 42 touches in the penalty box. He's taken 16 shots inside the box. That's on par with Sterling, who's got 16, more than Salah, who's got 14. And if you account De Bruyne, who's got 10, Hello, for West Ham, he's got 11, and Tammy Abraham with 16 as well. So he's definitely comparable. And I see, like, if you look at his form here, it looks like he's scoring like almost every other game. I wonder if there's another pattern to it. Like maybe is it the home games? I'd like to just have a look quickly, because that'd be very interesting to check. Well, okay, I'll check that up, but we can move on in the meantime. Wilson, I see we've got Wilson marked down. Yeah, he has been on form from the start of the season. He's been scoring.
Yeah, he's involved in 75% of the stuff that Bournemouth are doing at the moment. They got some decent-ish fixtures coming up. Plus, he's also been scoring every single game. He was a bit lucky in the last one. But, I mean, he's putting the points out there. And 8.7 is not that steep a price as compared to Firmino.
Yeah, he scored a penalty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, remember there was a time back in the day when we used to talk about players, we always used to mention that, like, penalty duties used to be the big thing. Now, like, yeah. I mean, when you want to pick a captain, do you really want to go, like, try to guess who's going to burst and score the hat-trick that week? Or do you prefer, consistently, the guy scores a goal a week?
No, he has to get a goal. My captain has to score.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just want to get back to Firmino quickly. Looking at his goals, he's got 3 goals, and all 3 of them were scored away from home. And they are playing Sheffield United away from home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a strong thing. Like, I noticed, like, whenever you see a pattern like that, it usually follows for quite a while,
Let's hope so.
And on top of that, he's adding assists to his game. So, do it for 9.5. Like, I might even say, like, listen, if you're struggling to have, like, Aguero, Mane, Salah all in your team, maybe you hedge your bets and you go for, like, a Firmino, and you have maybe a Aubameyang in your team.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, against Sheffield United, fine, they've done pretty well in their last game. I think they beat Norwich, right?
Yeah, they do hiding, bro. I'm telling you. One of the big teams have they played one of the big teams yet? I mean, the big teams like the top 4 or something. I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I'm smelling something here.
Okay, so then yeah, then Firmino is like a good option for captain this week then.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally Tammy Abrahams. He had a good game against Liverpool, I think.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's also on this. He's been on this list for a while now, so he's also getting points all the time, and they're running into some very, very good fixtures coming up. And I think in the last game, that when he didn't score by the 70th minute, Chua came out for him. So there is that worry. But other than that, with the fixtures that's coming up, I'll definitely jump on him.
Yeah, but I think Mason Mount's appeal might also be on Mount. Sorry, Tammy Abrams' appeal might also be dependent on Mount.
Yeah.
If he continues his good form, because it seems like a lot of teams I've been looking through. Like I was just like randomly going through people's teams, and I see a lot of doubling up. People who are playing their wild cards, wink, wink, who are picking Mount and Tammy Abrams.
Well, I mean, show the fixtures and you'll see why.
Yeah,
and look at that.
He was of course. How do I say this? I think the second best scorer in the first division, or not the first division. Sorry, what's the
championship? Yeah, he was playing for Aston Villa. He helped him to come up.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying, like, it's no fluke. Like, he hasn't just come up from nowhere.
Yeah.
Although to say, I mean, the Pookie was the golden boot, so they're saying that.
Look, within his price range, he's interchangeable with Pookie, so it's not as bad as you might think. You actually get some money back after if he doesn't perform.
Yeah, exactly. And just one more maybe positive about Chelsea is that I think Marcos Alonso is back in that team.
Yeah.
They obviously need Radiger back for sure, but if their players start coming back, and Kante being back is the major thing. To me, that Chelsea team is actually underrated,
Okay.
And so to me, I would actually even suggest to people, maybe now's the time to get in and take 3 players from there. There's a really cheap defender there by the name of...
was it Tomori?
Yeah, Tomori. Yeah, 4.5.
4.5, played the last 3 games, 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's my little hint there. So, Captain Tammy Abrams, boys. And okay, and then let's move on to our last bit here, which is the one to watch. And Son finally making the list.
Only for the reason because you're so expensive all this time. He's in De Bruyne's cheaper than De Bruyne, but in his price range, you know. But I mean, you can't ignore him. He's been scoring some nice points in the last couple of game weeks.
But how is he in terms of like? I mean, you have to rely on the fact that he's obviously like he's more like the de facto striker, right? But
Yeah.
you're gonna rely on like he's a nice differential to have. But I mean, if you're gonna have De Bruyne in your team for definite, and then one of Aguero and Salah, who do you sacrifice here? Do you sacrifice a Sterling for Son? Like, is it worth it?
Yeah, well, look, I had that same problem on my wild card, and the way I fixed it was I took Salah out and brought in Firmino to get me Liverpool cover, as we just discussed, and brought in Son in his place.
Okay.
In Salah's place.
Yeah, and if Son's form can continue, I mean, he is listed as a midfielder, but he's clearly a striker.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
I think he's playing higher up the field than even Kane.
Yeah, no, exactly. I would love to see what his expected goals are, but I guess he hasn't played enough games yet, right? He missed the first few, so. But I mean, he's also got some decent fixtures coming up. Although I would still shy away from captaining him just yet.
Well, look, if you need a differential and you want to boost up in your mini league, try and go against the Aguero and go with him.
Okay, so they're playing obviously Southampton at home this week. Then they're playing Brighton and then Watford at home.
Yeah, the next three you would expect quite a decent haul from this home.
Yeah, and what do you have on Southampton? Like they've obviously not been great, but like I think they're in the relegation zone.
So yeah, they weren't that great against Bournemouth either, man. Look, if they go there and they do a high press, the South's going to have a field day.
Yeah.
So it all depends. Well, they can also go there and park the bus, but I mean, that's none the better.
Yeah, and Spurs really need to recover from their terrible midweek game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, anyway, that's it for this week. I hope we'll pick up on points more this week.
Yeah, okay, before you go, I should have mentioned that those stats that you saw in the video earlier on, those are all KO Fantasy Football Scout. Fantastic website. Members of that. That thing has helped ever so much with the show and with all the stats that we use in our teams and stuff like that. If you ever find yourself there, become a member. It's completely worth it. Or you can watch the show also. We're going to help you out.
Yeah. The articles especially I really find useful. I spend the Saturday morning before I make my changes going through those articles. There's some really good ones there. And they also have a very good podcast that you can listen to.
Yeah, they have a YouTube channel as well. Their YouTube channel is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so cheers, man.
Okay, have a good one.